So, as you all know, I am the board game guy. I love my board games.
I'm already bored.
Oh.
What a game.
Dang.
So, the biggest news for the board game geeks out there is a couple of weeks ago, Gen Con actually announced that they are going to be canceling Gen Con for this year. It is the largest board game convention in North America, and the turnstile for last year at least was around 70,000 people.
Whoa.
So every one of those people had to get hotel reimbursements. They had to get their tickets reimbursed. And the sponsors, who are really big sponsors, you got Fantasy Flight Games, you got Piazza, which makes Pathfinder, the role-playing game, and things like that. They lost a lot of money. A lot of money. Just
Well,
because they had to back out and everything.
I can't speak for Gen Con so much, but I already had tickets and everything for the Midwest Game Con. It was just, it kind of hit in the middle of this whole virus epidemic.
Right.
And it was really sad because it was just like counting the days to get to this thing, because we went to it last year. It was a pretty big, spectacular thing where it was like 3 stories, 2 giant, display rooms. And it did video games, it did board games, it did basically anything gaming related. They touched on everything like that. So I can completely empathize with you on something like that magnitude.
The worst part of it is Gen Con is not going to be until July 30th through August 2nd. So that worries me with all the different types of concerts that people are trying to go to this summer, thinking the COVID thing was going to be over by July or August. Mm-hmm. And even the cons and other cons themselves that are later, like even in the fall, are all those blown out of the water.
So
I'm worried.
Let me take a little minute here.
Please do.
Back, I think it was around March 17th. All right, y'all with me?
No.
We were okay. So,
we all left.
Dates,
so,
yes.
like, March 19th was supposed to be Trans World Halloween and Attraction Show. This is, like, the biggest Halloween attraction in the United States, where they're going to release everything that's coming out in the fall. Everybody who makes props, costumes, masks, all these people go there.
Everything,
right?
all their stuff is going to be in the spotlight.
Exactly.
Like, here it is.
And
this is
you
what we
have
got
to
for
get
you guys.
approval before you can go to the con, before you can buy your ticket. So this year, my father and I were supposed to go. I took off vacation time, took a personal day, and within days before it was supposed to happen, they said, yeah, you know what? We're not going to have it because of the coronavirus. That was a big blow because, it was going to be stupid spectacular, right?
Precisely.
Yeah. So then, another punch to the gut was that following weekend was supposed to be Lexington Toy and Comic Con, right? Mm-hmm. So I had taken this time off for vacation, had hotels booked, tickets bought.
Yes.
And at first, with Trans World, the host hotel, they were almost like, well, I don't know if we're going to be able to refund your hotel. So
off that noise.
Yeah. So that's like $400, $500 for the weekend. You know what I mean? It's just it'd be gone.
2020
right?
has just been a dumpster fire for conventions or
I
anything
agree.
like that.
I agree. So not only that, but then Lexington was like, we're gonna move it to May, and then they're like a couple weeks later, they're like, actually, we're gonna move it to July. And then it went to, well, actually, we're just going to push it all back to next year. What the hell? I get that sometimes you just got to cut your losses.
Right.
But, like you said, when are we going to get back? Is 2020 a washout for cons in general? Or because Horror Hound was supposed to happen around the same weekend. Mm-hmm. The weekend following Trans World was supposed to be Horror Hound Cincy, right? They were going to push it back until May, right? Also, then they're like, no, we're just going to give people refunds. So, right, that's, no, they didn't refund it. They pushed it back to next year. If you bought a ticket for Horror Hound 2020 Cincinnati, you can use it for Horror Hounds Cincinnati.
And see, I hate stuff like that, because if you push it back to next year, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know where I'm going to be at next year.
Not only that,
is my ticket still valid? Am I going to be able to get the time slot?
Exactly.
There's too many uncertainties when you deal with something like that. It's like I said, excuse me. This year has just been an absolute dumpster fire for like conventions and like little just anything like that.
Here's the thing too, though. Are you going to have the same vendors? Are you going to have the same like guests and the people that didn't have tickets. So 2020 is just complete. 2021 does that mean like everybody who bought a ticket? No, if they're all sold out, they aren't going to have any more tickets for people who
coming personally from someone that lives in Memphis. Memphis in May is the biggest drawer to people to the area.
Yeah.
Everything got pushed back to the fall, so all those people that spent $2,000 over at some hotels to get, rooms
Memphis
for
in May.
Memphis in May, they're not making any money.
Yep.
And even my concert I was supposed to go to in St. Louis, they postponed it, quote, quote, till a later time. And everything's just been blown out of proportions, and 2020 is not what I expected it to be.
Well, and that's the thing. This was supposed to be the year for cons. Multiple cons set up. I plan on attending. And then another thing, what? And I had heard talk, and I don't know if this is fact or not. Like, because there's 2 Horror Hounds a year. There's one in Cincy, and then there's one in Indianapolis at the same convention center that Gen Con takes place at, but it's in one corner. Because when we were down there for Horror Hound this past year, 2019, there were like 3 other conventions going on in this building. They give you an example of how big this building is, right?
You're talking about the convention center, correct?
Yeah, it's like its own little city.
I was going to say you have the convention center, and you have just layers upon layers of just different rooms for different events and stuff. And then you have the Lucas Oil Stadium where the Colts play. Gen Con has used those many years for other, big war type game setups and different stuff like that. So it's massive. It's pristine.
And so
massive.
Horror Hounds in one, I say little segment, but you got to think like the little place that Horror Hound was set up at. It's a normal size convention area, right? But there are 3 other cons going on. So just to give you an idea of how massive this building is. So just think about, like, they've said, okay, we're not doing Gen Con. Well, just think about all the people that were working that event, between pickup, servers, and like, all these other people. They're just like, well, we're not having Gen Con. Sorry.
Well, I think that, and I think that's going to be a recurring trend because everyone's trying to balance the viability. Like myself, personally, I still have tickets to a Chicago Bears game in August.
The Bears.
And when I purchased the tickets through Ticketmaster the day they went on sale, I had to sign all these things that this game could possibly not occur due to unforeseen,
You had to sign a couple dotted lines.
Yeah, so, I mean, everything's a big risk because, as they keep getting closer and closer to actual start dates. Now, in the NFL right now, they've actually got some form of the training camps are all starting to slowly. I think there's one state that can't still yet, and I'm not sure which one it was, but I heard someone mention there was still one at the time this is recorded, that there's still one state that wasn't allowing people like on the field and everything. But I have heard that with the Bears and everything, I've heard that Trubisky's been practicing with Allen Robinson, taking some snaps, doing some reps with him. So they are starting to allow people back on the field in the training facilities in very limited numbers. It's not going to be like it traditionally was. And I know right now, like Major League Baseball is up in the air as well. I mean, and They tried to bring soccer back, I think. They tried to do a match or a couple in Germany or somewhere overseas, and they did everything. The players did not touch each other. They were like tidy freaks, neat freaks. They were sanitizing basically everything. And there were a couple players that still tested positive. And I think that I don't think we're done with people being diagnosed with this and everything like that. I think this is going to be ongoing for a while, but
I mean, going back to Spanish,
I know,
it was like a 2 or 3 year.
Yeah, no, it's got cycles and it's going to run. But I mean, those are things you're going to encounter. But I mean, you could also get that by going to a Kroger's or a Walmart, or something like that. I mean, it's just as likely. But just segueing something real quick here that had to be related to football, since we kind of talked about sports just for a quick second there. I was looking at GameRadar.com because I was curious about a couple things, like who's going to be on the cover of the new Madden, and it looks like it's going to be Lamar Jackson this year because they won't do a repeat of Patrick Mahomes because apparently that's kind of taboo in their whole sector. But here's my question for you guys. So, according to what they're reporting, for all the current gen consoles that are out on the market right now, Madden's going to drop in August. And then for all the next gen stuff that's proposed to be coming out, may not, but I mean, that's kind of their proposed launch schedule. The Madden products will be available in December. But here's my question. Right now, in Chicago, they're not sure if it's going to be Trubisky or Nick Foles. With the whole thing when Nick Foles was brought in, they're like, oh, we're gonna have this quarterback competition. But with what we just discussed here just a few moments ago, they're not able to run their training camp like they normally do. So who do you guys think is going to be the quarterback? Like when Madden comes out, no DLC, no download patch, you stick the disc straight into your machine.
Giggity.
Who do you think it's going to be? Or how do you think they would go about picking something like this?
I'm not able to speak on this topic just because of my knowledge on either players or the game necessarily. I don't feel like I can knowledge.
Right, but my question still is this.
Who was last year's
Mitch Trubisky was the quarterback last year.
I would go with Trubisky just because they don't want to shake the ground too much. I'm saying they're going to go with the conservative. Like, we're not going to rock.
Farmer, what do you think?
Well, here's the thing. You want to talk about not rocking fans. Fans have been on the Screw Trubisky bandwagon since damn near day one. So here's the thing. They bring in Nick Foles to try and make Trubisky, quote unquote, step up. It's kind of a quarterback duel. Foles he's very hit or miss. So
is Trubisky just terrible always?
No.
In 2018, he had a fantastic season.
And last year, he was plagued. That's not how the seasons work, buddy. But don't worry. Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. It's all right. But the 2019 season, he was plagued with a shoulder injury. And he still went out there and played and damn near put up better numbers than his 2018 season.
Yeah, it's actually really surprising when you roll it back and you look at their figures right next to it.
And he missed some games this season, too.
Yeah.
And he didn't miss anything in 2018. 2019 missed a couple games, had a bad
I got to
shoulder.
correct you on that. In 2018 he did miss 2 games.
Did he miss 2 games?
He missed 2 in 2018.
I didn't think he did.
He took what was it? I remember I think it was a Detroit game he missed. Maybe a
because that's a gimme game. That's a gimme game. So that's no big deal.
What do you mean a gimme game?
It's a rollover. Like they're just gonna roll right over Detroit because Detroit sucks.
Well, now hang on.
We apologize to all our friends in Detroit right now.
I apologize for nothing.
He's not a Lions fan.
No, I do. I will stand my ground all day. You guys haven't put out nothing except for a good car, and even that left your town.
He's not wrong.
I'm not wrong.
Not wrong.
No.
They have a good car show.
Meh.
They're a cool rock city, right?
No, that's Cleveland.
Oh, okay.
Meh.
Well, they are the chili capital of the world, right?
So you think Foles?
I do not think Foles. No, I think Foles is going to be nothing but Trubisky's backup.
So what do you think who do you think they're going to pick in the game though?
Trubisky.
So you were on like.
Of course, I am. I'm on board with you about
He's
Trubisky.
just presenting both sides of
the just presenting both sides of the coin.
Honestly, like I said, Nick Foles, Super Bowl MVP. I mean,
he was.
But the thing with Nick Foles has been almost all these seasons where he's had this great success. He wasn't the starter. He was like a backup who came in like midway through a season because the main quarterback went down. But when he went to the Jaguars last year, things didn't work out for him, and he went down. Minshew stepped up. He came back, and they're like, we kind of like Minshew, what Minshew's doing here.
So
and
you just go over there, sit down.
Yeah.
Go over there,
but
sit down.
again, Nick Foles, great numbers. I mean, he's a definite improvement over our backup QB from last year.
100%.
Nothing wrong with Chase or anything like that. In fact, Chase went to the Lions. Now that we're talking about Detroit there for a second there, but
oh well,
but Nick Foles is definitely an improvement over Chase Daniels. I mean, there's just no argument against that.
No.
But, we'll see how it goes. I just, Ethan, you want to make a bold prediction on what Madden's gonna, when it comes out? No DLC. What's the Ethan call?
The call is I have not played a Madden game in over 5 years. I have no opinion whatsoever on this.
Oh.
I'm not a sports.
Well, it's not so much as a sports
person.
thing. It's just who do you think they would go with? You go with the one who's expected to come in and actually win the job, or the guy who had it last year? Who do you think Madden goes with?
To be honest with you, is this a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation? No. Is anybody going to be?
No, I don't.
No,
think
I'm just kind of curious. Like,
No.
if you were like on the board at EA and you had to pick who's gonna, do you roll with the guy who was the quarterback last year, or do you roll with this guy who could potentially get the job?
I would roll with the guy that could potentially get the job, but didn't we have an issue in sport? I think it was with Tim Tebow or somebody where he was just a rock star in college, and then he got to the NFL, and then he just like sputtered out his
Oh,
first
absolutely.
season?
They're-
Oh, 100%.
Was that
Oh,
Tim
yeah.
Tebow
Yeah.
or was that somebody
Yeah.
else? Okay. You know, you take risks no matter what. So I would go with the new guy. Give him a shot. see
Okay.
what
Well,
happens.
I mean, like I said,
And-
it's one of those things
No,
where
there's absolutely nothing wrong with that thought process because,
I don't
it was just thought provoking.
yeah, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Like I see it being honestly, it's a flip of a coin because if you flip a coin, Trubisky on heads, Foles on tails, it's not a bad choice either way it lands.
What if it lands on its side?
Ugh, tip it. Put one person on one side, one person on the other. Just start blowing. Whoever wins, go with that one.
Ding.
Bing, 5.
That's awesome.